of sport, my life of sport, my life of sport.
Episode 21 of My Life of Sport. My name is Gavin Ingham. This is my chat show where I talk with friends about sports and life. I would like to first acknowledge country and the traditional caretakers of the land in which I'm filming here in Naarm, otherwise known as Melbourne, and thanks to you all for tuning in tonight here with me. Still in lockdown here in Ginger Nut Studios. My guest for episode 21, he's recently become a global internet sensation with his gansta-cooking comedy character videos on Facebook. It is none other than El Covido. Where is he? Lorenzo! LARAñO! Ding, ding, ding!
What's up, homie? How you doing? You're knocked out?
¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo está, homie? How you doing?
That so far is the best intro I've ever had the pleasure of being forced upon me from one of my guests. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, homie. I'm gonna take over now, guys, so I can talk properly.
Man, you've got all out with your sport. Put the mouth guard in, you got the hands wrapped, got the gloves on and everything. That's fucking incredible. How's your dinner? What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking $2 drinks from Aldi. I'm not sponsored by Aldi. I wish one day.
You've covered it over. Is that alcoholic?
No, I think so. Gold. It is. It's a lager.
Is it $2 beer?
Yeah, mixed drink, but it's something like $12. No, it's less than $2. It's like a 12-pack for like $9. So it's not. Yeah, it's less than $1 each. I'm not kidding you.
That's fucking incredible. Go Aldi. We'll bleep that out when we put this back up on YouTube later, so we don't get in trouble. But you're pretty fucking huge now at the moment, so you can say and do whatever you want. You're taking the world by storm. You're an online cooking sensation now in no shorter terms. It's this time 6 months ago. You wouldn't have predicted what is fucking happening to you. During lockdown, what have you discovered that you actually really fucking like cooking? And also, what are you just hating cooking at the moment? Because it's different for you now. It's real.
Yeah. Look, I started it just for fun, bro. I didn't even decide to do it because I was like, I want to start a cooking show. Because everybody was doing cooking shows, bro. Like, all these comedians are doing cooking shows. So I was like, I'll do my own, but a spoof. Like, so the very first episode is it's probably still the most popular one, but it's probably still the one that I dislike the most. And then it just blew up. Like, heaps of people started asking to do second episode, third episode, so I just kept going, bro. And then I improved my cooking.
Well, I don't know if you need to, because that's what I love is it's funny, and you're playing on this Mexican gangster sort of thing, stealing ingredients, murdering the ingredients. It's awesome, but it's actually fucking good cooking, and I think that's a real difference. And I think that's what people take away. So during lockdown, what have you personally? What have you actually been cooking away from the camera? What have you been cooking? Do you just eat Vegemite sandwiches, or do you actually cook up a storm? What do you like cooking?
Just eggs, bro. Just eggs. Yeah, To be honest, dude, I love researching as many types of meals or type of exotic meals that I can find on the internet, and then I just put my own type of like flavor to just kind of change it up. So I'll find something from like
your own flavor.
Yeah, my own flavors. Yeah, a little bit of this. No, I like finding new ingredients like on the net, and then just like putting my own twist to it. And because I mean I've got a wife to feed, and so basically she's taken on the role of looking after our son while I'm cooking. So then, to be honest, easier. He's a nightmare, man. He's a nightmare, bro.
Yeah, man, I could not imagine how hard it is to cook your son. So it's easy just to cook food.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. Thank you so much, buddy. I've known you for quite a bit now, and you've graciously accepted my invitation. So, Lorenzo, it'd be remiss of me to not. We'll talk about New Zealand in a minute. You just hold your horses. It'd be remiss of me not to acknowledge the sponsors for this episode. I've got to sponsor each episode, and if you can guess what tonight's sponsor is, then you, sir, will get a lifetime supply of this very thing. So, can you guess what it is? I'll give you a hint. It holds paper, and it usually smashes your fingers.
It holds paper, and it usually smashes your fingers.
3 seconds.
Hammer.
Holds paper. It's a bulldog.
Oh, that doesn't smash your fingers, bro.
Yeah, when you try to do it, usually you get it like it always happens. Anyway, you just missed out on a lifetime supply of bulldog clips. You could probably buy your own factory at the moment, I'd imagine, with how well El Covido's doing. But I was going to send you down to Al's Alligator Clips there in downtown Melbourne, in whatever suburb you live in, and but you missed out. So there you go. My friend, let me tell you about the show. During lockdown here, us here in Melbourne, like yourself, have had comedy taken away. I got back from Adelaide Fringe Festival and got the phone call. All my work and gigs have dried up, and I work in sport. I'm a ground announcer at Marble Stadium, and I commentate and court announce basketball, and run a historical walking tour about sport, and it was all taken away. And then I didn't even have sport to fall back on as a stupid sports fan. My guests love sport, and there was no sport, so we all went a bit crazy. And I realised sport's actually quite kind of important to me. I kind of knew it before, but I didn't. I knew it, but I didn't put to my heart know it. I got the Wallabies, representing the Wallabies tonight. Didn't know how much in my heart sport meant to me. So, and realised that I take a lot of sporting philosophies into my into my craft and in comedy and into my everyday life. And so this show is really about finding out my guests, what their relationship is with sport, who did they support when they were growing up, and also how much do they also take into their real life and in their craft and career from the sporting field. So, sir, let us get started. It is Q1, kickoff, bouncing of the ball.
Let's get ready to rumble!
That's the very expensive sound effects box here at My Life of Sports. So, round one, sir, is about your sport. So, your sports that you're representing today are boxing and rugby, because you were born and half raised in the Philippines and then moved to New Zealand, and that's when unfortunately you have no control in this. And fortunately, it's actually a good sport. You got involved and found a love for rugby. But we've got a picture here that's you. Going to swap that over there. You are. That's you. That's you in the box. Oh, mate.
Where'd you find that?
That's exactly what all my guests say. We've got a very big budget here at My Life of Sport, and I pay big bucks on the black market. And fortunately, the Filipinos, mate, they'll do anything for money. So that's how I got these photos. I put a call out to the Philippines. I know. Fists of Fury. And so I want to know, why is basketball not included in one of your sports? Because you're Filipino, and so and you like fighting. So this is, that's what the Filipinos do when they play basketball. Is they take on the Australian Boomers and bash the shit out of them. Why not basketball? What has basketball done to you?
Why did it elude me?
No, why not basketball?
Dude, I'm like 5'2".
So I'm 5'8" on a good day.
Yeah, I'm like, what, to your chin? I think I did try basketball when I was younger, when I was in primary. But I had speed, but like, oh man, they were I didn't like how I was, I didn't like how I wasn't dominating. That sounds weird to say that, because like, I'm pretty competitive, bro. Like when I take on a sport, or especially if it's an individual sport, I want to win. Yeah, nobody likes losing, of course. But like, I was, even though my school team was winning, I was just doing crap. Like I wasn't that competitive. I was getting shoved, Yeah, and you can't be too physical anyways. So I was like, oh, and then I switched to soccer, and then I found out that I was a crappy kicker. I couldn't kick. Crap.
It's just gone down from there.
I was like, oh man. I was like, man. So I'm like, oh, I'll do something else. Luckily, I broke my arm playing soccer. Broke my arm, both places, hit and here. My forearm and my whatever this is, broke it playing soccer. My first school game, broke it. Then it took like 3.5 months to heal. Then I was like, what do I play next? Because I suck at both sports. So I played rugby. Went to rugby, and I did well, bro. Did well rugby. I was that little halfback. And then I was just like, I ended up playing ripping. When I went to middle school and high school, I was playing rip rugby, bro. I ended up playing for like the equivalent of the Auckland Blues for when I was in high school.
Yeah, right.
Pretty good, huh? Pretty good.
Your nickname must have been Philo Weepu then, not Piri Weepu, but Philo Weepu.
They call me Little Lomu because I had the haircut.
Oh, you do? Yeah, you do look a bit like.
I had the haircut. Yeah, they call me Little Lomu. Yeah, and I spoke like this.
You could have called Philo Mu.
Yeah, they should have just called me Philo Lomu.
How much? Who were your sporting idols growing up then? Because you grew up in the Philippines, and so in boxing. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Could be very wrong. I don't think I am. Surely Manny Pacquiao.
One of them, yes, of course, one of them. But to be honest, Pacquiao is my favorite boxer. You know, my favorite is probably De La Hoya, because he was the whole package, bro. He was handsome, like me. He was handsome as fuck, like me. He was quick. That was my kind of like my forte. I was quick, and like, I don't know, he was just likable. He was so likable. So for me, it was probably Oscar De La Hoya, then Pacquiao. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad that Oscar De La Hoya was your number one boxing hero, because later on we've got a Manny Pacquiao quiz for you. So there you go. All right. Round 2. Just check the score. You've kicked about 3 conversions and a penalty field goal, so you're up on the scorecard so far. All right, round 2. Now, round 2 is about your career and how it's going at the moment. So we've got you starting out as a little boy in the Philippines there, and I've got a line of dialogue for you. I want you to put your thinking cap on, and I want you to close your eyes and see if this rings any bells. So I've got a line of dialogue ready. I've got to harness my acting skills. Yeah, I'm going to see if you recognise where this is from. I've got some dialogue for you. Here it is. Hey, how's it hanging? Not it.
Oh, fuck off!
Because you're obviously a girl. Does the name Albert Little mean anything to you, sir?
Yeah. Oh man, please don't.
2007, IMDb says you were Albert Leung in a little show called Shortland Street. And for all of you that don't know what that is, that's the Neighbours of New Zealand. So you, here we go. Here we go. Don't. Oh no! Catman's checked in. So is Dave. Welcome, gentlemen. And 40-year-old fit dad. Welcome. We're talking to Lorenzo, comedian, about his sporting life here, My Life of Sport. So that's you in Shortland Street. So you started out as a serious actor. Here's your headshot. That's not the worst. This is the best. You're a serious actor at a farm? What's going on?
Well, it's New Zealand.
Yeah. So as well as that's actually the New Zealand Academy of Dramatic Art. There, that's where you trained in Shakespeare and Once Were Warriors.
We just turned up the kids one after rugby.
Yeah. Now be the sheep. Be the sheep. So you went from being a serious actor to then getting into being a filmmaker. You are a filmmaker as well. Here's you on set telling people what to do. And then you've gotten into comedy. I told you, mate. Filipinos will do anything for money. So your family's helped out. There's a big stitch up. This is your life, you know. It's an intervention. It's actually an intervention. Everyone's going to come on the call, and we're going to tell you to stop. I don't know. We'll make up something. So you've gone into stand-up comedy. I'm talking about your career here. Gone into stand-up comedy, and you've ventured into some comedic characters. You got an entrepreneurial sort of life coach, and as well as being a filmmaker, a bona fide filmmaker, I must say, and director. And it's all come together in this last 4 months where you put up this stupid video of you being a gangster cook who murders ingredients, and you've come up with this fellow here, El Covido. Chains. Welcome to Jay Marco and as a KW Ross, who's just said, is he the Asian Brad Pitt? Damn, yes, certainly is. So this is incredible, and I checked today, and it's got 1.9 million views, episode 1 that blew up about 5 months ago. As soon as we hit lockdown with COVID, you came up with this character, El Covido, and it's just blown up with the Latino community. Like, you were so big around the world. Last night you were on the Philippines' biggest radio station. What has been the biggest change for you in your comedy life now? Like, because you're also a filmmaker, so you do live stuff. So none of us comedians are worried about live performing at the moment because we're all in lockdown. So for you, what's the biggest change before El Covido and now? You now can think and relax a bit because you can think in terms of film? What's the biggest change?
The biggest change is, to be honest, like, this is one of those, I mean, your platform's pretty nice because I can swear, say whatever I want. But nowadays, like, I can't be showing my ass too much anymore, you know? I can't show my ass too much anymore. I'm pretty disappointed with that.
You can do it here. Go for it. Just wait for a screen record and send it to the police. Yeah. So you have to censor yourself a bit.
A little bit more, yeah. And then I can't get mad. I can't get mad at some people. Like, before I'd just be able to say, fuck off, mate, you know. But now I can't because there's certain offers that I take up where if I'm hand to protect, you know. Yeah, I mean, I can't be as aggressive, I guess, which is, you know.
All right, well, I just out of your system now. Hang on, let's do a scene. Hi, Lorenzo. You are like the stupidest fucking chef I've ever seen. What do you got to say about that?
your mustache makes you look stupid. So stuff you.
That's about as effective.
I can do that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah. Well, do it, man. Do whatever you got to do. So things are going pretty crazy. Would you have thought 6 months ago? Yeah, like you tried different things, but for some reason El Covido's really like taken off and exploded. Would you have thought 6 months ago? Is it still a bit of a head fuck?
It's weird because I keep thinking that because I know it's because it's I don't know it's Facebook, right? And so far I'm now starting to get invited in places where this platform, like for example, like the thing that I went on last night, he has like Filipinos' biggest movie stars and artists and singers and personalities, and here I am, El Covido. I'm not even known in my suburb, and then the guy that he had last night is basically the Michael Bublé of the Philippines, right? He comes out with like a Christmas carol, like every year before Christmas comes out, and so that's why he was on that show. And I was like right after him. I was supposed to be before him, supposedly, but then he decided to put me on second because he's like, oh no, a lot of people wanted to see you, so you were like really well requested. And I was like, why am I requested? Oh bro, you didn't even know how fucking popular you were in the Philippines, man. And I was like, really? Like, dude, that's why I had to put you second. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, dude, am I? And like, okay, I guess I must be doing okay because I released my merchandise last night, and I've already sold quite a lot, which is weird, man. I don't want to talk about like profits or whatever, but like basically it's selling well, and I'm like, man, I think I want to buy it. All right, I can buy it.
That's insane. So you weren't big in the Philippines when you left to go live in New Zealand, but you are now big in the Philippines. You're now big. That's hilarious.
I like that.
Yeah. Welcome to everyone who's just tuned in. Clinton, Dave, there you are. As responded, that's why I stopped watching. I think that might be in response to you not showing your bum much anymore. Yeah. All right, so that is half time, my friend. Let me just check the score. Oh shit, they've got a few. They've knocked you to the canvas a couple of times, and the scorecard's not looking good for you. You're down on the scorecard at the moment. I can't even say it properly. So at the show, Lorenzo, we would have a tradition at halftime. We do some oranges. We would have sent you a package. Did you get the package?
I did get the package. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's good. Cool, because that was the last orange we had, because today I'm have to eat mandarins. So we usually, like, Little League football here in Australia, we all have oranges at halftime. So if you wouldn't mind sharing an orange with me. This is El Covido.
Hi.
Hi.
Arigato.
And cheers. Halftime here. Cheers. We're putting up a picture here of you and your big days. We can't see it, so we're just going to swap it over. There you are in the middle. So we're at halftime here. Tell me what would have let's go.
Piss off.
You can't say that. You've got to say nice things. So tell me at halftime, what would the biggest spray you would have received in a boxing match, or you're having a bit of a practice match, or just a bit of a spar, or even on the rugby field at halftime? What's the biggest spray that you would have ever copped or would have heard?
The biggest spray I would have got, catch the damn ball, Butterfingers.
Really? As the number 9?
Yeah.
Isn't that like the main skill?
No. When I started out, I wasn't number 9. They put me out on the wing because I was shit. Because not shit. I just didn't know the rules. So all I was told was to just catch the ball and just run it to the other side of the field. And
little Lomo.
At the time, dude, my arm just healed. So my catching ability was shit. I was like, So then, like, when I started playing rugby, all I knew was to grab the ball, to catch the ball, and run it to the other side. I never even passed, not once. And then, like, when I got the first year out of the way, I was like, I gotta improve. And then I started like watching a lot of my idols in rugby, like John Alomu and all those guys, Justin Marshall, Petey Wiki, you know. And then I was like, damn. And then I got better. I got better, bro. I got better. And then I was like, gotta play halfback now. I'm too small. Low to the ground, boom.
Catch the ball, Butterfingers.
Yeah, catch the ball, Butterfingers.
And that's what got you into cooking as well. You were, butter.
Yeah, cool.
So, I've got a question for you. Was it a bit weird for you? What age were you when you went from the Philippines to Aotearoa?
Aotearoa, in the 90s, man. Like, I think,
How old were you?
I was like 7 years old.
So was it weird because
primary school.
Because growing up in the Philippines, then going like Tama Umanga is like a great All Black. Umanga, UMAGA, means morning in Tagalog.
Yeah, it means good morning. Morning.
So was that a little bit confusing, like some of the sort of cultural differences? And I know, like, New Zealand has quite a bit of Asian influence, you know, like a lot of Polynesians will eat chop suey. So that's like definitely like a Chinese thing, and there's a lot of shared cultural things. So, and there's a bit of an islander sort of similarity, you know, like things are done in island time and things like that. And eyebrows, everyone talks about eyebrows and lips, you know, it's such a New Zealand
and the tattoos are quite Asian.
Yeah, but was that a shock was that hard to adapt?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was hard to adapt. I would say it was at first a shock because only because it was so different. Like, we were poor in the Philippines. Like, my mom and dad were poor. We lived the house that we lived in the Philippines. Like, my mom and dad's renting the place that my mom and dad rented was like, we thought it was normal, right? But it was basically like our floor was just soil, bro. So when it rained, it got all muddy and it flooded. And so when we arrived to New Zealand, the first house we rented was carpeted, the whole house. And so we thought, far out, the whole house is a bed. The whole house is a bloody bed. And we had three bedrooms, right? There's 5 of us in the family at the time. Back in the 90s, there was like mom and dad, and me and the 2 brothers. And we're like, we get a room, like, we got our own rooms. In the Philippines, we all slept in one bed, right? One bed. It was basically a studio shitty, but it was not like a studio because it was like soil. No ceilings, just straight up like hollow blocks, walls, and just a corrugated iron roof. So that was the bloody
Slumdog Filipino.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, all I needed to do was sell cigarettes in the street, and that would have been like perfect. Completed.
All right, well, that's half time. The round 3, third quarter, the championship quarter. So here we go. Here's our quiz. This is a picture of you growing up as a boy in the Philippines, or
it's a Japanese guy.
That's when you got married in your Japanese kimono. Here's the Manny Pacquiao quiz, Wikipedia quiz. So if any of these are incorrect, don't blame me. Send a letter into the show, and we'll deal with it. So you got 5 questions. You got about 1.2 seconds to answer each question. So
1.2.
2.7. Okay, you got to answer quickly. You can't take any time. Question 1: Is Manny Pacquiao the cutest boxer ever?
Say that again, I didn't hear you.
Is Manny Pacquiao the cutest boxer ever?
Yes.
Correct. Number 2, what is his fight record? Wins, losses, and draws.
Oh my gosh. Jeez. Jesus.
71 matches, fights. What is the win, loss, draw breakdown?
4 losses, 2 draws, and then the rest are wins. So I'm not pretty with my maths, but yeah. 4 losses, 2 draws. Is that right?
Cut out. The internet cut out. Say it again. You said 4 losses, 2 draws.
And the rest are wins.
I can't do the maths. Very close. Yeah. I'll give you half a point. 2 draws. Correct.
Yeah.
7 losses, 62 wins.
Ah!
Very, very close. Number 3.
No, I don't.
Number 3. How many kids does he have?
He's got 4 kids.
5.
Oh, fuck, I knew. I should have said 5. Because sorry, man. I knew it.
Well, he might have 4 kids, and I think he's now classing you, El Covido, because you've blown up as his 5th kid, maybe, I don't know. So,
yes.
This answer really shocked me. I don't know why 5 kids didn't shock me. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. But this answer shocked me.
Rich.
Number 4, he fought under how many weight divisions? How many weight classes did Matt under?
8.
It's 9. I was like, oh, maybe it's 4, but 9.
No!
It's 9, yeah. It's fucking
It's
ridiculous.
8. It's 9 now!
Oh, wait, it might be.
No.
It might
no, that's right. You're right. You're right, because he only became a champion in 8 weight classes.
All right. I'll give you 2 points for that.
But you're right.
Like you don't know, you just got that a bit confused. So here we are, number 5, the last question. What year did he become a politician, a senator? Come on, you know this.
2011. Fuck, I don't know. That's a hard one.
If it's 2016, yeah. And here is a fucking funny statistic. So he became a politician. He ran for
I know that
office in 2016, and he got in. Last year, 2019, he finished uni with his degree for political science.
Yeah,
so
he did it backwards,
for 3 years. Oh, and then he finally got the degree. Yeah, that is amazing. So,
Philippines is the land of when things are true.
Yeah, just a bit like Indonesia. It seems it's just a bit like, oh, yeah, whatever. You know, you got some money. Yeah, okay, we'll make that. We'll make that fine. So, how has it been for you since lockdown? What are these posters in the background? Because you had some Melbourne Comedy Festival shows booked this year with good friend Joel.
Joel Muruguya.
What was the show about? What was the show about?
The show, well, basically, we're 2 stand-up comics, yeah? So basically, the show is, well, I play a character, this character that I do, he's basically like a life coach, so he does like a seminar / stand-up show, and it's basically trying to enlighten you with how to become a better person, or a better being altogether. And Joel plays an aspiring stand-up comic that I'm trying to basically inspire to become a better comic. But he's actually funnier than me in real life, so that's what makes the whole thing. That's what makes it funnier, because like I'm this guy who's trying to teach this guy, you know.
Thanks. We have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, man. We'll see you next time. Are you guys gonna do the show next year? You know, who knows? You know, depending on what happens with COVID. Are you guys gonna do the show next year? What's sort of you're not gonna just let that idea die? You're gonna still got an idea for it?
Yeah, no. No, bro. I'm not gonna let it die. Yeah. So the life coach is basically still well and alive. I still like introduce him into my gansta-cooking. My channel on Facebook. He makes a few appearances. He's got his own teleseries, his telenovela, show that he does. I've done 3 episodes of that, and basically that's me just kind of like showing them a little bit of the life coach. But basically, when lockdown is over and borders are opened up in the Philippines, man, I'm going over there and doing a comedy tour. I've already got venues that are keen to host me.
That's crazy.
And I want to take Joel with me.
That's awesome.
But I want to take
You'll have to do a little web series or something with him as well. All right, that is the end of the third quarter. You are up. You've what other sport? Basketball. Manny Pacquiao is a professional basketballer as well. So you've scored 5 3-pointers and you're up on the scoreboard at the moment. Going to the last quarter. Looks like you've got this all wrapped up. So next photo we've got off the rank. This is where your love for cooking came from. This is you as a little Lindt chef, chocolate chef. So we've got Lorenzo. We've got a special viewer that tunes in every week. His name's Richard from all the way from England, but also he's close to being our #1 fan. But the #1 fan is Kathy. So she almost said catheter. G'day, Kathy. I didn't call you catheter. She has watched every episode, and now she writes in and has a question for each of our guests. She knows our guests intimately. She knows everything about them. So she's got a couple of questions for you. She says, Mr. Covido, your favorite cuisine is to eat and to cook. What is it? What's your favorite, personally, what is your favorite cuisine to eat and cook? 2 questions.
So it has to be both what I like to cook and eat?
Oh, no. What do you like to eat? And also, What do you like to cook? Are they the same thing? Are they different?
Cool. Oh, cool. I like to cook. Basically roast pork. I love my pork, bro. Look at that. I look like a pork. Yeah. So I love my pork. I love to cook that, and I love to eat. I love to eat the pussy.
What? No, what did you say? You love to eat the pussy?
Yeah. Well, why not?
Oh, fair enough. That's a pretty good meal, yeah. You can change your name. There you go, Kathy. I hope that answers your question. You can change your name to L Pork Vito. So, yeah, that's awesome. So, Lorenzo, this is really why I put the show together, is really the fourth quarter, and this is really what I want to know about, is what a lot of sporting analogies or philosophies into my life and also my career and craft. So, a joke, for example, and it's a guaranteed, and I throw it out there and it doesn't work, or something a bit didn't get it. Maybe it was something the way I keyed it. Look back at the video and you know, and I haven't done my best. I kind of think, man, this is a bit like sport, like maybe cricket, like the ball came down the pitch, hit a rock, and I missed it and I got out. Or maybe I'm a bit unfit or not in game condition. I need to do some more laps this week, or do a few more lower level runs before hitting this audience. So I have all these philosophies. So my question to you is, do you have philosophies like that you take from sport life and that you incorporate into comedy? And if so, what are they? Because I guess you can speak from 2 points of view: live comedy, but also from filmmaking. And now that's sort of really crossing over for you, and you're doing, safe to say, you're doing pretty all right at it. So yeah, how does that work for you, sport-wise?
Sport-wise, I think, I mean, for me, when I see a sports star, a great sports athlete isn't just someone who is a good player. In a way, they almost have to be likable to become a superstar, like a bona fide superstar who's like, they're likable. So not only do I like them when they play, but because they're good, but because they're just watchable. There's something about them that I like. Like Quade Cooper is like the worst. He's the worst best athlete that's really talented, that is very hated. Like, he's so hated, right? by New Zealanders and also by a lot of Aussies, which sucks because he's actually quite talented. Nick Kyrgios is another one who's quite a talented person that isn't very liked. So what I found that I was able to kind of incorporate or like try to do well is to not just be a good comic, but to be likable as well. And that also comes with being natural too. Sometimes people can't help but be unliked because they're just a dick. There's some people. I mean, there's some people in the comedy scene that you just go, man, that guy's just an ass. He's so good, but he's just a fucking ass. There's a few of them. Yeah. There's a few, And you're
I'd say
they get stuck.
I'd say Joel, who you just mentioned before, he's not an asshole. It's the opposite. He's first of all, he's very fucking funny. And
Who are you talking about?
Two, Joel.
Nick Kyrgios?
Two is Nick Kyrgios. No, Joel. And secondly, he's such a fucking nice guy. Like he's so funny. He's always ready to laugh, and he's always giving this good spirit. So that's a good point. So does that mean that decides what your comedy material is a bit? Because El Covido he thinks he's tough and wants to be this gangster. I've got a picture of him here. But he's just not. Like, he's actually too good at cooking. He's actually a good cook. But underlying the heart of what he does is it's just likable because he's trying to be. So is that what dictates your comedy? You want to do something nice and you want to be likable. So that's how within you, that's how El Covido came about, for example. So does that inform your comedy?
Well, I think the core has to be funny first. So if it's not funny, there's no point of me going, I want to be likable and funny and be funny at the same time. So at first, by the way, I don't write any of the episodes. I write like a few jokes, like 5 jokes, and then everything else is ad-lib. So basically, the way I came up with El Covido is like a piece of me who is a little bit like I've been in I've done criminal stuff before in the past. And so El Covido is kind of like a piece of me that I wanted to bring out, plus combine it with stand-up. Because that's what it is, really. Like it's a sketch, right? But at the same time, I wanted to portray El Covido in a positive way. Because not only do I not want to step on like any cultures or make fun of them, and that's not what he is, because he's all about bringing communities together. That's why I think in my personal opinion, I have a lot of Latino fans and Mexican fans. It's because when they see El Covido, they personally message me and they say, well, this guy is just a funny comedian who like loves to cook. He's not degrading the Cholo race by being an idiot, because he's not a fool. He's not a fool, bro. Yeah, he actually knows how to cook. Yeah. He loves his family. He cooks for his family. And he brings a community together. Filipinos, Latino man, fucking chatting on my threads, like, hey, homie, and using my catchphrases. Now, if that is not gangster, I don't know what is gangster.
Yeah, I don't know, like, he looks like the cliche Latino gangster, so therefore, this is going to be bad, you're going to be paying Latino. And then you're going to and then he's just not. Like, and also food, like, food does bring people together. And the fact that you actually... bona fide, a good cook, and very creative and experimental, and it could be enough on its own as a cooking show. Is I think what gives it, pardon the pun, nutrition and nutritious, and it's nourishing, and it's what people want to share. So even if they don't like you or don't think you're funny or don't find El Covido likable, or I don't know who. They're still going to get something because of the cooking. So I think it taps all those things. So, I think that's interesting, the likable factor. What's the difference been for you now? Because, like, it's probably a really good example. You're probably a really good example of someone who did a lot of live stuff and then COVID hit, and now you're totally pivoted. It's not saying you're not ever going to do live again, not saying that, but that in this time, you've been probably one of the busiest people that I know as far as performing, because you now got this runaway train thing happening with El Covido, and so now you've gone from a live audience talking to people face to face to now making these, getting back to your filmmaking roots and making. So what's that been like dealing with sort of the hate part of it? Because we all have to do it as comedians. It's usually in the audience. Shout out, tell us when the comedy starts. Tell us can you tell us the real funny jokes, please? To then now you getting, of course, you'd be getting comments, you know, like, this guy isn't even fucking gangster, I could shoot him. Yeah. So how's that been for you? Pivoting, dealing with that live to now online stuff. Do you just ignore it? How do you deal with it?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not getting that many haters, to be honest. And
shit, none of my messages have been. You haven't been checking your inbox? I've sent heaps, man.
I blocked you, man. You know, I don't know. I don't know why I haven't blocked you on IG, man. But I blocked you.
Yeah, okay.
I blocked you. But no. To be honest, I at first it used to worry me because I used to think I used to get a lot of haters. But then when I look back, I'm like, it's not really that many. But I made it seem like there was a lot because the ones that were really, the ones that were that kind of like, they've kind of eased off now. But the ones that started off kind of like going me, this was the first 2-3 months, were people that I knew. Man, that was sad because I'm like, bro, we're friends. Yeah. People like you, man. And I think we were friends, and they'll come up with whatever excuse to project towards my comedy or my character, and then use it as their kind of like mechanism to try and make it seem like a bad thing. So they'll be like, oh, this is racist. And I'm like, who am I? Why is it racist? Oh, you're offending Mexicans. And I'm like, you're white. And all my followers are Mexicans and Filipinos.
Fuck off.
They love it. Like, what are you saying? He's like, oh, but they hate it. I'm like, well, this dude just messaged me saying, I used to be a gangster. I used to not want to cook for my family. Now I'm cooking for them because of you. And it used to like bother me. But then I look back and I'm like, I look back and then I try to analyze why they upset. And I go, maybe they're in the same field as I, and they're not doing anything, and so maybe that's why they're upset. And so instead of feeling anxious and anxiety towards them, I feel more empathy now. I'm like, oh man, cool guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you're still welcome to come on my show if you want to come on. You used to be my friend, but if you don't want to, that's fine too. But like what you're saying to me now, it doesn't matter because like I mean, I'm making millions. Like I've only got 100,000 followers now, just 100, you know, just 100,000. But I'm making millions of people all over the world: Latinos, Brazilians, Filipinos, Mexicans, even now Africans too. Bro, my videos have made it to Africa. I don't know how, but it's in Africa now. And all these, like, I started, dude. How do I say it? Africans, right? All these Africans have been messaging me saying, you know, from Ghana, saying, bro, you're funny as, and I'm like, damn, is this Akwasi? No, it's not. I'm kidding. I'm just like, oh,
it's transcending.
And I'm
like,
like,
it's not just Latinos; it's transcending.
Yeah, and for me to take it to heart, what one or two white male open micing comedians telling me what my comedy isn't, for me is like, bro, do I take millions of people's opinions over 2 people or what? I'm an idiot if I take those 2 people's opinions.
And they haven't even bothered checking in with the Latino and Mexicans and the gangsters. Do you hate El Covido? Oh, good. I'm going to tell him. Like, they didn't even check. They just spoke on behalf of them. Well, that's what we do, Lorenzo.
On behalf of them.
Us white males, that's what we do. We speak on behalf of ethnic minorities, and then we colonize them. So you got to get used to that.
Colonizing my comedy, bro.
So just let me know when you're going to shoot another episode of El Covido, and I'll come along and just, you know, get in there and just get you out of it. Because I'm good at it, man. We're fucking good at it. We're really good at it. We've got millions of fans.
Very good.
Anyway, that's the end of the match. Jesus. Let me check. It's a draw. We're going to go to extra time. So to win this, Lorenzo, you have to tell me what your favorite sport movie is.
Oh, sports movie. Damn, this is a good one. All right.
3 seconds.
My favorite sport.
3, 2.
Longest yard. The longest yard.
Longest yard.
That's a sports movie. The
Yeah,
longest.
what's that?
Well, there's two of them. There's the original. Yeah, back in like 90.
Oh, is this
And then there's the prison
football in
one.
prison? Football in prison?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like soccer football or like American football?
No. American football, and then there's Adam Sandler. They play American football.
Yeah. Oh, Mean Machine. They've got like millions of those versions. All right, cool. You've made it to the My Life of Sport video. Moneyball's been getting a lot of attention last few guests. So longest yard, that's a good one. So we've got that's it. You've won. You've absolutely checked the score. And Hail Mary, you've won the match. Congratulations. So what I want to last of all talk to you about is what's going on for you after COVID when we all get released here in Melbourne, because you're in North Melbourne suburbs and I'm closer to North Melbourne, so hopefully pretty soon we get released. And how many more episodes are you planning? Have you got lined up on Facebook? You're going to have to keep doing this even if we get released, because you've also released some shirts. So when we turn this into a YouTube video, I'm going to put links up around here and in the description for people to buy some El Covido fucking shirts. Here we go. There's you modeling the shirt. Oh, how fucking convenient. That's awesome. I've got a...
Oh, no, we're just lying in the corner, you know.
Ching! So I'll put up the link to that and that a bit later. And we've also got you modelling it there up against, when you look like you're in prison. And also got some other... Buneni that's one of the other characters, sister girl. So, where can we get you on Facebook? What's the link there? We'll put it up, but tell us about it.
So basically, the link is EL, and then space Covido. So COVID, but with an O. So COVIDO. EL space COVIDO.
That's awesome.
Just
quickly, where are you going to go when we all get released from lockdown? Where are you going to take the family?
From Big Daddy Dan, huh? Big Daddy Dan. Where as soon as we can start doing stand up, man, I want to try and get up into a couple of rooms and just work on some jokes. Because as soon as borders open up, I really want to go to the Philippines and be able to take up the opportunity that I've been given to perform over there with the bigger venues. Like I want to take. I mean, when is it? Strike while the fire is hot, right? I don't want to turn up like, let's say 2 years from now and they're like, we don't care about you anymore. It's like, oh. So
they do the son of El Covido.
It's not like the son of the mask. The son of Covido. Yeah. And I want to bring. Yeah, go on.
The shows, you'll be on all the shows. On this episode, we find out what are they doing now? El Covido, what is he up to? And everyone's laughing. El Covido,
laughing at me. Yeah,
my grandma loved him.
Yeah. Look, I want to bring a few comedians with me to the Philippines, and just between you and I. Yeah, just between you and I, you're coming, you're definitely one of them. But like, I've already got heaps of contacts. I won't say the name, right, because I might get him in trouble. But I've got like a pretty big Filipino politician who follows me and like loves my stuff, and he's like,
Manny Pacquiao,
I'll pick you up at the airport. He goes, I'll pick you up at the airport and I'll sort you out. So just when you're ready to come, just message me, and I'll sort you out.
All right, man. Looks like
I got like big names that are like, man. It's funny.
I'll be coming, and then 2021, this show is going to be My Life of Philippines. I'll be living it up.
Oh man, it's fun, bro. It's fun. Lots of chicas,
I don't know.
What happens in the Philippines? Stay Philippines.
Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap this up. We're running out of time here. You've won the match. Congratulations. So thank you so much for coming on the show. This week's been absolute pleasure to talk a little bit of boxing, a little bit of rugby, bit of culture, food, and then this El Covido train. It's pretty fucking crazy. And congratulations. I don't think I've actually said that to you. Congratulations on everything that's been happening. And
Thank you,
and
bro.
we'll continue to win. And good on you for like capitalizing on selling shirts. And man, we've all got to do it. We've all got to do that. And you're
Such
doing
a
it.
sellout.
And yeah, exactly. And everyone, you dream of these things, and then when it happens, you're like, oh shit, and you got to make some crazy decisions. And yeah, anyway, congratulations. That's what I want to say. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This episode will be up on Instagram TV in my page just after, as well as I'll be turning this into a YouTube video. I'm putting this up on YouTube, and you can catch Lorenzo on Instagram, of course. And also on his comedy page, as well as his El Covido page. We'll put up the links. And, if he gets too huge and his wife leaves him, you can probably find him on Tinder as well. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Lorenzo. Big shout out to you and your family. Hope you have a wonderful evening. And we'll talk soon. And shout out to everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday night for My Life of Sport from Ginger Nut Studios. We'll see you next Wednesday night again. And that is, I got to try my best Tagalog. Magandang gabi.
Magandang gabi po.
I don't know what that means. Let me get good.
That was good. That was good.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to the Philippines. That means good night to you, to me, and to El Covido and El Covido's friends and fans. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. That's the end of the match. That's full time. See you, boy.